Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see, I know. I have been off this channel for a very long time. I can't even remember the last time I uploaded to this channel, and I have a good reason for why I have been gone. If you watched my video titled "It's Okay Not to Be Okay," then you would know that, I experienced a very traumatic situation last year, and I've pretty much been recovering from it ever since. So yeah, that's why I've been off this channel. So I wanted to do an update video so that I can get back into the swing of things and start, uploading consistently again. And I actually filmed this video twice. This is my second time filming this video. I already filmed it. I already started to edit it, and I was just like, no, I wasn't happy with it. So I decided to, film it again. And when I filmed it the first time, I basically was just giving an update about, what took place and what happened. Then I realized that I wanted to turn it, more into an informative video as well, because the things that I experienced that caused me, of course, the ambulance would be going by right as I'm filming. The things that I experienced that, caused me to stay away from my channel or not be able to upload was a result of trauma. And since this channel talks about trauma a lot, and there's a lot of people who watch this channel who have been through trauma, I figured I would make it, more informative, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to some of the things that, I experienced this past year. So pretty much I made a list of, 4 things that kind of kept me away from my channel or prevented me from being able to upload. And they are all, trauma related. So I think I'll title this video like, 4 reasons why trauma stops you from achieving or succeeding, something along those lines. I'll work out the title later on. So just to give a quick overview, the 4 things we will be covering are, let me get my notes just to make sure I have them all. The fear of failure, the fear of success, physical and mental health being impacted, and then low self-esteem and low sense of self-worth, okay? So we're gonna start with the fear of failure, which is the most common one. When you experience a traumatic event, it makes sense that your body would want to protect you from experiencing anything else that would harm you, right? Especially when you have experienced prolonged trauma and your self-esteem is really unstable, meaning that you don't have like a healthy sense of self-esteem. You don't have like that stable core love that kind of keeps the average person afloat. When you don't have that, you don't want anything happening to you that could cause that self-esteem to, go left. It's like you spend a lot of time trying to maintain your self-esteem when you have, experienced a traumatic event. And so any failure or anything along those lines can cause your self-esteem to kind of crumble. The average person, or a person who has a healthy sense of self-esteem and, who was raised in a healthy environment, they have a healthy sense of self-love, they can experience failure and kind of jump back up and keep on going, because they know that failing does not mean that they themselves are a complete and total failure. It just means that they failed, but they're not a failure. They can get up and keep going. But when you have been through traumatic events and when you have not had that, nurturing or that sense of proper self-love, then, failing, you can internalize it very easily. And so when you experience, like I said, a traumatic event, especially because I've experienced those my whole life, along with the traumatic event that happened last year, my self-esteem was really like shaky. And so my fear of failure, which has always been there, it just kind of, blew up pretty much. So I just developed a very intense fear of failure to the point where I just did not want to produce any type of content. I didn't want to produce any type of videos because it always felt like it wasn't good enough. And it was always this fear. And I know it may seem irrational because, I upload to YouTube, I get pretty good feedback, I get, good comments and things of that sort. So, that it's kind of irrational to think you're going to fail in some way when you've already had like a track record of, being successful in a way. But that's the thing about trauma and traumatic events. It does cause irrational fears. You see what I'm saying? And you can't even risk the notion of even failing, even if failure is not what it may appear to be. Like for some people, failure might be if you upload, nobody watches. To them, that could be failure. But for me, failure could be like I upload and I'm just not happy with my video. I'm not happy with the way that I spoke. I'm not happy with the way that it flowed. That in itself could be like failure to me. So yeah, it's like my brain was pretty much stopping me from uploading because I had this fear of feeling like it wasn't good enough or feeling like I failed in some way, shape, or form. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, fear of failure, that's number one. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people with like I said, a traumatic background or they've had traumatic experiences can relate to that fear of failure. It's a huge blockage. And ultimately, it's just because, like I said, if you don't have a healthy sense of self-esteem and self-love, failure can just easily dysregulate you. Is that the word? Dysregulate? Yeah, deregulate? Dysregulate you, and it can just cause you to go into a shame spiral, so you just don't even bother trying so that you won't end up failing. So that would be number one. Number two on the list is fear of success, which is, you know, a little bit different from fear of failure. I think fear of failure is more common amongst people who've, you know, experienced traumatic things and who have a low self-esteem as a result. But fear of success is a little bit more complex. Fear of success would be you trying to constantly diminish yourself because you succeeding equals danger in some way. So in my case, my fear of success comes from the fact that, you know, I have experienced narcissistic people trying to pretty much destroy me and tear me down because they possess something called pathological envy. And this doesn't have to be just full-blown narcissists, like people with narcissistic personality disorder. This can also be just people who have narcissistic traits, you know. They possess something called pathological envy. And I really feel like, I really hope this video like flows smoothly. Again, you see that thing in my head where I feel like it's not, you know. Anyway, I just hope this video flows freely flows smoothly because it's a lot that I am trying to get like off of my chest and a lot that I'm trying to, you know, dump from my mind pretty much. So back to what I was saying, narcissistic people have something called pathological envy, right? Where they just feel this overwhelming sense of resentment towards anybody who they feel like has something that they would want. So wait, let me grab my notes just to get a direct definition. So envy, the feeling of resentment triggered by someone else's possessions, qualities, or good fortune, right? But then the word pathological means something caused by a mental disease, and it's compulsive and obsessive. So basically, pathological envy, if you put those two definitions together, is basically when someone has an extreme amount of envy, and it's usually a result of having some sort of mental disease, such as narcissistic personality disorder, but it can also be with highly narcissistic people. And it is compulsive and it is obsessive, and it's dangerous because the average person who's envious, they can envy you and they can kind of go along their way, right? They envy you, they kind of maybe throw little jabs at you or have negative thoughts about you, but they'll continue on with their life. Somebody who possesses pathological envy, they become obsessed with destroying you because it's the only way to regulate themselves and regulate their own emotions. They themselves have very low self-esteem. Narcissistic people have very fragile self-esteem. And so if they see something in you that they want or something good about you, they become obsessed with trying to destroy you. It's not something that they can just look at you, say, oh, I'm envious, and then go about their way. No, they have to see you torn down. So I've experienced this so many times throughout my life. Just talking about it is making my chest kind of tight. I've experienced this so many times throughout my life that my brain has been wired to now dim myself. I don't like being successful. I don't like being in the spotlight. I don't like too much praise because my brain says danger. You know, you're going to attract a narcissistic person and they're going to try to destroy you. And, you know, with me having so many followers, I just hit 100K, which I still have to make a video about. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hit 100K subscribers, and with those numbers going up, it's like the alarms in my head are just like, don't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Stop what you're doing. Too many people are watching you, and that is going to cause someone to be narcissistically or pathologically envious of you, and they're going to try to destroy you, dim yourself, shrink yourself. You see what I'm saying? It's like my brain trying to keep me safe. Because like I said, people who have been pathologically envious of me in the past, they don't just have a little bit of envy and move on. They have to try to destroy you, okay? And, you know, I'm not just having this fear irrationally. This has happened since I've had my channel, you know? I've had people who are narcissistic and who were very envious who have gone out of their way to try to harm me. And the traumatic event that I experienced last year with my pregnancy, it involved someone or multiple people actually attacking me while I was pregnant, while I was vulnerable. And that's where that fear comes from. People who are pathologically envious, they will strike when you are at your most vulnerable because they just really, really want to see you destroyed because it regulates their own sense of feeling inferior, you see? So yeah, it was friends who, you know, attacked me, and not physically attacked, but might as well have been verbal, mental, while you're pregnant. Unacceptable, you know. But yeah, pathologically envious people. I got into a relationship last year. I talked about it. I got engaged, and I made it a little too public, I think, because that also attracted a lot of pathologically envious people, and that in itself was that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that also attracted a lot of pathologically envious people. So it's like some people saw my channel doing well, and then they saw my relationship doing well, and it's like they just couldn't, like, it made them malfunction pretty much, and they would just attack and attack and attack, try to destroy my relationship, say things about my channel like, oh, you aren't who you say you are, you got your subscribers under false pretenses, like just the things that people say when they're envious of you. They try to diminish, you know, whatever you've accomplished, and they made sure to wait until I was having a difficult pregnancy to do it, you see. So yeah, that's the fear of success. It's very dangerous. Pathologically envious people are very dangerous. So if you have been a victim of trauma that involves pathologically envious narcissistic people, then it makes sense that you would constantly try to shrink yourself and dim your light. It even can manifest itself through like your physical structure. Like even me, I'm very small physically, like I'm very like slim, and I feel like a part of that is that I genuinely don't like to be seen, and I don't like to take up space, because again, I could just be living my life, and the jealous energy. And again, I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, because a lot of people, they say like, oh yeah, these people, they're so jealous of me. And a lot of people who say that, a lot of the times they're really clueless. Like no one's jealous of them. They're really just a horrible person, and people are telling them the truth about themselves, and they're just like, oh, you're jealous. This is not that. I can feel like if you're a highly sensitive person and you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse and pathological envy, you can feel when someone's jealous of you and envious of you, and it's not anything to brag about, and it's not anything that you welcome. So I'm not just saying like, oh, these people, you know, I'm just so great, they're jealous. Like no, it's like you can feel it, you know it. It's certain things they say, it's a certain feeling that they project onto you, you see. And so yeah, that's what, you know, happened to me a lot in the past year, but especially during, you know, my pregnancy. People took the opportunity to really try to just really destroy me pretty much. So yeah, fear of success, that can definitely be, and if I keep looking over, it's because I'm looking at my notes over on this side, that can definitely be you know, an issue. So another example of pathological envy could be like a narcissistic mother who's jealous of their daughter, right? And a lot of people on my channel have experienced that, where, you know, there's stories of narcissistic mothers who have slept with their daughter's husbands, you know, because of pathological envy. Or even if it's not that extreme, you know, they could just try to sabotage the daughter's accomplishments, things like that, you know. So yeah, that was another thing that was really blocking me from uploading to my channel, because my body was just very fearful of constantly having to experience that type of energy, you know. So moving on to the next thing, physical and mental health. That's one major thing that really like blocked me from being able to upload, because I had a nervous breakdown as a result of my pregnancy, which was very difficult. And I think I took down the video of it's okay to not be okay, I think. So I should probably plug in here, because I'm talking about being pregnant. I don't want anyone to say like, oh, well, did you have a baby? No, I didn't. And I'm not really ready to talk about what took place, but I just wanted to plug that in so no one will ask like, oh, you know, where's the baby? Just no. But yeah, physical and mental health. As a result of my very difficult pregnancy, and then, you know, friends doing very shady, malicious things towards me while I was pregnant, I had a nervous breakdown. And I had a legit nervous breakdown, not just like, you know, a social media nervous breakdown where people like exaggerate, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a meltdown, I'm gonna have a breakdown. No, I mean like a legitimate nervous breakdown, had to be hospitalized. And I'm not saying that people, I feel like I always have to give these disclaimers. I'm not saying that people on social media who say they're having a meltdown, that it's not serious. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, sometimes we can use like hyperbole on social media, and we're just like, oh, I'm about to just have a meltdown, I'm about to just have a breakdown. I'm talking about like an actual nervous breakdown. My nervous system was like literally destroyed from this, and I had to be hospitalized for it. And yeah, that really affected, of course, my physical health. It affected my nervous system. You know, my skin after that, it just felt like pins and needles all the time. It was very, very uncomfortable being in my body after that. I could not I could not be in front of lights too much. I could not be in front of a camera or my phone too much. I could not stand up for long periods of time. And I already have an issue with my digestive system. I have a chronic illness that involves my digestive system from past trauma and past abuse. So, you know, I already had that going on, and then my nervous breakdown, then it affected my nervous system and affected my head as well. So I actually was so stressed, and my nervous system was so like inflamed and affected that the air supply, or I'm trying to remember exactly what was told to me. The circulation to my brain, the oxygen to my brain, or the blood flow to my brain was actually constricted. And I started experiencing psychosis as a result. I know, fun. So on top of the pregnancy, the nervous breakdown, then I was experiencing psychosis where I started losing control of myself pretty much. Like, you know, those people who kind of wander around downtown and like they kind of talk to themselves, or you see them like on a street corner and things like that, and they're just kind of like talking to themselves. That's pretty much what I was like slipping into. Like, I was really slipping into psychosis because of my brain. Like I said, like the blood flow, I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't even know that was possible, but apparently it is. But yeah, it was really bad. And naturally, I could not upload if I was going through that or experiencing that, you know? So yeah, I could barely get out of bed. So luckily I was able to, you know, keep up with my tarot channel. Whenever I was feeling okay, I just dedicated my time to my tarot channel. Whenever I was feeling balanced, I'm like, okay, time to focus on my tarot channel, because my tarot channel was how I was making a majority of my income. But also this channel, I was making income from this channel the whole time I was gone. So every month that I was gone from this channel, I still get a check every month, which I am so eternally grateful for. And that's why I do still need to upload my video about how to make money online, because during the time that I was extremely sick, bedridden, couldn't, you know, function, I was still getting income from my YouTube family. So I really do appreciate all of you for viewing my videos and sharing my videos, because you pretty much saved me from being homeless during that time, because there's no way I could have worked really that much. You know, I was making a fairly decent amount for my tarot channel, but I did have to put my personal readings on hold because I couldn't do too many personal readings when I'm not in the right state of mind. So I had to put those on hold. So a large chunk of my income did get cut, and you know, a large part of my income was still coming in because of the views from this channel. So I really do appreciate all of your support. You literally, like I said, saved me from being homeless. I kid you not. I was able to maintain my bills. I actually just moved out of my apartment and moved into a new one. So yeah, I really appreciate all of you, and that video will be coming. But yeah, so you can see pretty much that my physical and mental health, there was really no way I could keep up with this channel. But then also, you know, this channel can be very triggering as well, because the topics are kind of triggering. So naturally, you know, every time I would sit down and even try to, you know, write out notes for a video, the topic or whatever topic I'm focused on would trigger me. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I were to try to make a video about envy, I would just be triggered by the fact that I just got attacked by a group of very envious people. You see what I'm saying? So that in itself was like not good for my mental health, and so I had to take like a step back from that. And if I keep kind of looking around, it's because, again, I'm still very sensitive to light, and I'm sitting in front of my window, so it is kind of like disturbing me a little bit, but I'm trying to push through the video. So the last one is low self-esteem. Oh, also, I wanted to know if you guys are okay with, you know, me doing voiceovers from time to time, because like I said, I'm still sensitive to light. I'm still recovering from, you know, the nervous breakdown. So sometimes I can do voiceovers if you'd like, and, you know, that would help me to put out more content without having to kind of get up and film, you know. It'll help me to be more consistent pretty much. So the last point I wanted to talk about is low self-esteem and low sense of self-worth, which is very common when you go through a traumatic experience, especially because my traumatic experience involved betrayal. It involved friends who betrayed me, abandonment, rejection. Yeah, so those things really take a toll on your sense of self-esteem and your sense of self-worth. You start feeling worthless, you start feeling helpless, you start feeling hopeless. And if you feel those things, it's very hard to muster up the motivation to do anything. You know, it's like I barely wanted to get out of bed, or I barely wanted to even film for my tarot channel, knowing that that was my main source of income. You see, like I barely had the ability to muster up the strength to do that. It's like when you feel hopeless and helpless and worthless, your mind is in a constant negative loop of like, what's the point? I don't care. Like, even if you're telling yourself, no, you have to do this because you'll get evicted if you don't pay your bills. You have to eat because, you know, you'll get sick if you don't. It's like this voice in your head that's kind of telling you, who cares? So what? What's the point of any of this? It's like this very hopeless, helpless voice that you develop as a result of that trauma. And hold on, I'm gonna grab my notes on this because I wanna make sure I get everything properly, because I took notes on this specific part. So, okay. And again, I'm looking off to the side because my notes are to the side. So I wrote down 4 major thoughts that were running through my head during this time period. No, 3 major thoughts, sorry. I'm not good enough to succeed. I'm not deserving of succeeding. And something will happen unexpectedly to ruin everything. So what's the point? You see what I'm saying? So those are all the result, those thoughts are all the result of feeling worthless and hopeless. Like, I'm not good enough to succeed. You know, that's feeling of worthlessness. I'm not deserving of succeeding. Again, that's feelings of worthlessness. You know, no matter how far I get, something will happen unexpectedly and ruin everything. That's feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. Because when you experience a traumatic event that that comes out of nowhere, like my pregnancy was unexpected. Everything that happened with my friends was unexpected. I would have never in a million years expected I would have never expected it. So it creates this thing in your mind where you just feel unsafe and you feel like, what's the point of having any, what's the point of having any goals? What's the point of getting anything done or accomplished when you're just going to be knocked right back down by an unexpected event? It's like you really just start feeling helpless and you start feeling hopeless. And so you just adopt this mindset of, what's the point of even trying? And so that naturally created a very big blockage for me. It's like very difficult for me to film on my channel with that knowledge, you know, or with that thought process of what's the point? You see what I'm saying? So I'm sure a lot of people watching this video can relate to this, or maybe this will trigger in you, like, you know, an epiphany, because sometimes you have these feelings and you don't know where it stems from. It could stem from a traumatic event that happened years ago, where it embedded in you these feelings of helplessness and hopelessness, and maybe you still have that mindset of like, what's the point, in this feeling of emptiness, and it could really stem from that traumatic event. So yeah, those are the things that pretty much interrupted me from, you know, uploading to my channel. And I am, like I said, very appreciative for those of you who were patient with me, those of you who checked in on me and things of that sort. So yeah, I hope that this video was informative. Oh wait, I missed one. See, I know I should have like paid more attention to my notes. I missed one. Let me just tack this on to the end. Being in fight or flight mode. I should have added that into the part about physical health. Being in fight or flight mode, your body is constantly in a state of anxiety and it exhausts you pretty much. And so obviously you don't have the energy to accomplish anything or get anything done. So I had to add that in. That should have been with the physical health. See, I knew I should have like arranged my notes a little better. But yeah, pretty much that's why I've been off my channel. And I feel like I am doing a lot better. I am getting help. I am recovering. I am just staying afloat pretty much. And yeah, I'm just trying my best. Let's put it that way. I'm on a healing journey just like everyone else is. Yeah, even talking about this is a bit hard. That's why I keep like spacing out a little bit. I feel a little bit dissociated talking about any of this, but I'm glad that I, you know, got this video done. I feel like I won't have to refilm it. I feel like I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way that it went. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So, you know, hopefully that gave you insight into why I've been gone for so long. And I am combating all of these things so that I can be consistent on this channel. I have a lot of videos that need to be filmed. And so I'm going to definitely try my best to be consistent. And I hope you guys don't mind, like I said, if I do some videos as voiceovers, because that will really help me to stay consistent, because sometimes I really can't get out of bed. Also, I will be starting a Patreon channel, which I've been wanting to do, or a Patreon page, I guess. I've been wanting to do for a long time. People were requesting for me to start a Patreon like years ago, and I feel like I'm finally in a space to do it. I feel like I'm finally comfortable enough to do it, because before I was kind of like, how does this work? Like making money online, charging for content. Like, it just seemed weird to me. I didn't get it. But then I have my tarot channel, and I have I have extended videos for my tarot channel, so I get paid to do extended videos. So I'm a little more comfortable with making money online or producing paid content. So yeah, I will be starting a Patreon channel where I will be doing basically more in-depth videos, or more in detail videos, especially about topics that everybody seems to enjoy, like attachment style series. I wanted to do an updated series on my Patreon channel where I go into detail about each attachment style, like really into detail, like lecture style, because I have learned a lot more about attachment styles since then. And also I just wanted to start a more like close-knit community on Patreon, because anybody can find your YouTube channel, right? And thankfully most people who comment on my YouTube channel and subscribe, they're here because they genuinely are trying to heal and learn and grow. I get very few like negative people on my YouTube channel, but it does happen. And so I feel like with Patreon, it's like a closer knit sort of community, a closer knit family. Like, no one's gonna pay you to hate on you. Like, that would be really crazy. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who do, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's like, I feel like it'll be like a closer knit family on Patreon, and I can build like a closer community on Patreon. It'll feel more like it's our space, as opposed to YouTube, where pretty much anybody can watch your videos and things of that sort. And not saying I don't appreciate my YouTube family, and that only on Patreon, like, that's where I feel that I actually have connection. I have a connection with all my subscribers, of course, but I feel like what I'm trying to say. It'll just be a more close-knit community on Patreon. So I'm hoping to get that up and running on the 1st of November. I'm hoping for that specific date to start my Patreon. So yeah, thank you guys so much for, like I said, sticking it out with me, for staying subscribed to me, for still watching me, supporting me, checking in with me. I really do appreciate all of you, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. And what else do I have to say? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, because then I know I'm gonna be like, oh, I need to refilm this whole thing, because like the perfectionist in me. You can leave a list of topics that you want me to discuss in my upcoming videos, and I will be sure to go down the list and make the videos for that. Thus far, videos that I have on my list to do are the remothering yourself video, how to remother yourself, how to refather yourself, how to make money online, specifically for people who have chronic illnesses, or who just maybe going through a hard time with mental health and just looking for a way to supplement their income, like I did when I was sick in a way. Yeah, it's a couple different videos, but those are the 3 main ones that I'm trying to get up, within the next week. So, be on the lookout for those. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.